Hey there, Alpha Omega aficionados, and welcome to our May 2023 Wine Club allocation video. I'm your virtual ambassador, Barrett Spiegel, and we are so glad that you guys joined us as we're going to dive into two delicious wines that were sent out to our Wine Club members here at Alpha Omega. We're going to be tasting and discussing our Mount Veeder Cabernet Sauvignon from the 2020 vintage and our signature Cabernet Sauvignon also from the 2020 vintage. We're in Napa Valley, Cab is king, and I think you're really going to enjoy these two wines. We also have amazing food demonstration, a classic pairing, guys, that's going to go great with both of these offerings. And so excited to have you. Kick back, crack open a bottle of Alpha Omega wine, and we hope you enjoy our discussion today. Joining me here on our crush pad, overlooking this amazing Rutherford appellation here behind us, we have Alpha Omega winemaker Matt Brain.
Great to be here, Barrett.
Great to see you, Matt. And we have our assistant winemaker, Melissa Paris.
Hi.
How you guys doing?
Really good.
Very good, thank you.
2020 cabs, here we go.
Yeah, finally on the market, releasing them to people. Excited to give everybody a look at the new flavors.
Exactly. I think the 2020s are going to blow people away.
Yeah.
One of my favorite aspects of them is drinkability.
Drink 'em
young,
now.
Drink them go.
They're ready to go.
Baby. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Guys, once again, we brought in one of our favorite chefs here in Napa Valley, Chef Jesse McQuarrie, and this is a classic pairing. It's going to go great with both of these offerings, but we're going to have Matt go and check out Chef and see what's going on.
Chef, excited to have you back.
Glad to be here, Matt. Come on over.
Tell us a little bit about what we've got cooking up today.
Well, today we're going to be grilling a marinated flank steak, which is part of the abdominal muscle of the animal. We marinated it in some red wine, grain mustard and garlic with
Lovely.
some fresh oregano. We're going to simply grill it
Yep.
on the grill today, and then we're going to be topping it with a pecan-crusted goat cheese medallion. Let that warm up in the grill, and then we'll finish it with a red wine glaze.
It sounds amazing. Chef, I think this is an excellent matching. I personally really love flank steak. It's one of those cuts that I go towards in the grocery store, and I think it's going to match really well with both of these Cabernets. You know, the 2020 vintage, we didn't get a lot of Cab, and some of the best Cab that we harvested was a little bit on the earlier side, so I think there's some beautiful balance in these wines that are going to really match very nicely with this cut.
As do I.
Yeah. All right. Well, we will come back and circle around and see how things are going once you get the meat on the grill and some of these aromas start popping out for us.
You bet.
Thanks, Chef.
You betcha.
That recipe is right up my alley. Let's go.
Yes,
I love
sir.
that.
Look at that
Good.
color of
Yeah.
that marinade on that cut, that bright purple. It just looks amazing.
Excellent,
Yeah.
excellent. And just to remind you all out there, the recipe for this demonstration is going to be posted on our website, so
great.
our fans can not only enjoy these wines, but also try to cook up a storm of what Chef's cooking behind us. But speaking of color, guys, I'm looking at this Mount Veeder Cabernet Sauvignon from the 2020 vintage, and I'm very excited to dive into this. Real quick though, why don't we just talk a little bit about 2020 and sort of the approach, especially with our AVA Cabernets, because I think a lot of our Wine Club members are going to be pleasantly surprised as to what we've done with the 2020 AVAs.
Yeah, you know, as everyone probably knows, 2020 was a challenging vintage for us on the winemaking side. Ooh, listen to that meat sizzle. That sounds amazing. As well as trying to figure out the best way to present these wines to our customers, you know, keeping in mind the drinkability. We're really encouraging a drinking window that's a little bit earlier than typically we would recommend. And what of course. And what we decided to do in 2020 was, instead of making our single vineyard Cabernets, which people expect to last a really long time, we ended up declassifying all those best single vineyards down into the AVA level, where I think our customers are a little bit more inclined to drink those wines on the earlier side. So, you know, it gives people really the motivation to check out the vintage, because we really did a great job with the wines, and to realize they're really getting single vineyard caliber Cabernets at the AV level, which allows us to present a great value. So we're really happy, obviously really happy about the wines we've made, but also our approach to presenting them to our loyal following.
Accessibility too. I mean, we brought them down into the AVA series. I think more of our club members and our guests are going to be able to enjoy these. But Paris, I mean, Mount Veeder is a location that I know you guys have really started to fall in love with over the last few years.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about Mount Veeder specifically and how it contributes to this Cabernet.
Yeah, it's no secret that that's Matt's favorite I think, appellation, we could say.
Favorite AVA?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, for sure, in Napa. And it's just so breathtakingly beautiful, number one. It's so unique. The soils are unique. The topography is unique. Everything about it just makes for a unique wine, as long as you pay it homage and you do the grapes their justification that they deserve. So, which I'm really, really proud with the Mount Veeder that we made for 2020. You know, it's also no secret that 2020 was the first time that Matt and I kind of stepped foot onto Alpha Omega and got boots to the winery. So there was all this amazing energy that we had, and Mother Nature gave us a big challenge, but it was almost like we were ready for it. We wanted it in a weird way. We were ready to kind of dive in and say, okay, how can we put our mark on this vintage? And I think out of all the AVAs that we did for 2020, I think we're most proud of Mount Veeder.
Yeah.
They're all showing really, really nicely, and we're all happy with all of them, of course. But Mount Veeder has a special place for us.
Yeah, yeah. When I put my nose in the glass, I'm really happy to see that I can recognize the woodsy kind of nature of Mount Veeder. There's a warmth, there's an evergreen kind of inflection to the aromatic profile. And folks, if you're not familiar, Mount Veeder is basically like a coastal forest, kind of tucked into the west side of Napa, very different from the mountain range to the east. It's densely wooded, it's fertile, the fog holds there, it's just a magical place, and I think that those characteristics shine through in this wine.
Yeah, and that's a great point. Mount Veeder, if you haven't driven up over Oakville grade, over to Mount Veeder, it's a whole nother world over there. And it's like another little valley, a bowl within itself.
Yeah.
So many amazing vineyards and growers up there. We're very happy at Alpha Omega to be obviously owning a vineyard up there and securing fruit from Veeder.
Yeah, exactly. We actually source from a couple of fantastic vineyards on Mount Veeder now. Obviously, the fantastic vineyard Drew Stricker that we've been farming for quite a while, but also two other fantastic vineyards now, one called Paratus and another one, a well-established vineyard called Fontanella.
Yeah.
And just fantastic fruit sourcing, and a privilege to work with that land up there.
Yeah, and another little fun fact is that I just thought about this when you were talking about Paratus, is it's our only dry farmed vineyard that we have, and it's just such a special site.
Yeah, absolutely. No irrigation in the vineyard. Very special.
Yeah. Well, judging on the amount of rainfall we've gotten this year, there might be some more dry farm vineyards if our guests can see the rainfall behind us. It's been an amazing winter of rain here at Alpha Omega in Napa Valley.
An incredible, rejuvenating, wet winter, supplying us with all the amazing water we need for this coming vintage. So we're in a great spot as growers here in the valley. A lot of water around us that these vines are going to need. So it's a promising start to the vintage.
Yeah, and I mean, let's dive in a little bit on the specifics of the Mount Veeder Cabernet Sauvignon. It's 100% Cabernet.
Yeah.
No blenders in this one for the 2020 vintage.
Yeah, that's right.
Classic Alpha Omega winemaking, right? Barrel fermentation, partially.
Yes.
18 months-ish in French oak.
That's right.
But the fruit just shines through, and it's very floral too. I love the aromatics.
Agreed. And providing that resolution of aromatics is definitely a challenge. And I think it's a unique wine. It's not to be confused with the Valley Floor. I think you get some nice, bright, kind of tart fruit on the palate, but as I said, that luxurious kind of Cabernet with a little bit of that woodsy inflection there, and I think it's very special. And for fans of Mount Veeder, they're going to identify these characteristics right away.
Yeah, and they're going to see that as we keep talking about how it's drinkable now. When you put your nose in the glass, it's ready to go. Like those tannins, when you actually drink it, smooth and silky. And that all came from the decisions that we made for 2020 in our winemaking style. Small things that we adjusted, having less new oak component, really dialing into our coopers, using a lot of neutral oak, racking off of lees early, making sure that there was all these things that we knew would be a successful wine for 2020, right? And most of them we did, all the techniques that we did across the board in 2020, but there were some specific things that we did AVA specifically as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're fortunate here at Alpha Omega to not only get great vineyard sources, fruit sources and contracts that we worked with, but I know you guys did an amazing job, you and your team, in the winemaking side on what was a difficult vintage for a lot of people. I mean, I don't think we skipped a beat here with this Mount Veeder Cabernet Sauvignon, and it's drinkable now. Drink it now. Love that.
It's lovely.
Love that.
Yeah, I hope a lot of people open it up as they're watching this and following along, and the aroma coming off of Chef's grill here.
This is almost painful.
I know,
how
it
amazing
just
that
smells
is.
incredible. So what a beautiful match. It's really bringing out the fruit in the Cabernets and some of the sweeter fruit components with all this savory, beautiful aroma going on in the background here.
One more thing to kind of touch on about our AVA series of Cabernets. This is such an amazing kind of series of wines that we started a few years ago that we're going to feature different appellations in Napa that you all love. Oakville, Yountville, our home appellation here in Rutherford, Mount Veeder. Do we have an Atlas Peak? I mean, we're making some amazing Cabernet Sauvignons from these appellations. We're going to be sprinkling them out through the rest of the year to our club members, and they're going to be featured here in our winery. So dive into those just to be able to taste the differences in appellations. It's so much fun.
That's right. And in fact, just to add on that a bit, Barrett, you know, to spill some beans as we do on camera, we actually have some AVA specific blends coming out, some proprietary blends out of the specific AVAs as well. So that's something really interesting exciting to look forward to, folks. If you're a fan of our blends, our prop red, the right bank, left bank that we've made in the past, you're going to see some AVA specific blends that really put forth the terroir of the location, but do it in a way that doesn't fully highlight Cabernet and it highlights the other Bordeaux varietals a little bit. So really exciting additions. Yeah,
and ones that we haven't historically done here before, which is a lot of fun for us. So.
More delicious wine from Alpha Omega. Bring it on. Let's go. Speaking of AVA appellations, very excited to transition into our signature Cabernet Sauvignon because this is a fun, what I like to call Napa Valley Cabernet. It's got fruit from multiple regions in Napa Valley. This is our classic signature Cabernet that, you know, one of the first wines that we made here at Alpha Omega when we opened in 2006. This put us on the map, and it continues to get better and better, and no exception on the 2020.
Yeah, you know, I think one of the reasons it continues to improve is the vast diversity of vineyard sites that we continue to work with. We're continuously evaluating, replacing, and adding on vineyards that are going to take our wines to the next level. And as you mentioned, Barrett, this Napa Cabernet that we make is really a beautiful snapshot of the vintage because it does encompass both the mountain ranges to the east and west and the valley floor from the north to the south. Now, looking back at the 2020 vintage, most of the fruit that we were really successful with was actually down valley a little bit. So you're actually getting some cooler, kind of more classic components of this Cabernet. I think it's well structured, it's beautiful and silky as we do here at AO, but there's some beautiful restraint and tension here in the wine. It's more of a classic expression than we've done in the past. And folks, probably the smallest bottling of Napa Cab maybe since we started making this wine in 06 and 07. So just a little bit of it. That's one of the downsides, unfortunately, to the 2020 vintage is the very limited availability. So you're going to want to check these out, and you're going to want to pop them now because they just taste fantastic right now.
Agreed. And just to kind of dive into the components of this signature Cabernet, as you know, as our wine club members know and our guests over the years, we're not making wines off recipe here in the cellars. This blend always changes, but Paris.
Right, and Barrett, I saw you smelling both of them side by side. Very, very different. As we were talking about that cherry and that tart and that Bing component that's over here in the Mount Veeder. More of like that savory, a little bit of that herbal note coming out. I get a lot of tea leaf on that for the Napa. So that to me already speaks to the blend components and how we decided to do that.
Yeah, and you know what, folks, that's very typical. When you look at old world Bordeaux winemaking, they construct blends and use the different varietals to balance each other, to complement the vintage, to complement the flavors that we were given. And I think, as Paris mentioned, in this 2020 Napa Cabernet, we saw more opportunity to improve the flow across the palate and the harmonious kind of components, the fruit components, with that Merlot and Cab Franc in these blenders. So it's really fantastic, you know, to talk about the diversity of vineyard sites that we work with, but also the diversity of blenders. You know, we work with Malbec, Petit Verdot, Merlot, Cab Franc on a fairly big scale from different appellations. So to have those blenders, those tools in the tool belt to bring out and utilize them to bring this small blend together is really just an amazing privilege to have all those options.
Really. And what I love about this wine, to kind of close it out, I mean, you've got fruit, you've got all of our vineyards in Napa are accessible for this type of wine. Multiple appellations, the mountain fruit, the valley fruit, the stuff that's on the hillsides. You guys aren't scared to put all that together to make a great signature cab.
No, and I mean, a lot of people sometimes ask me, like, how do you guys even decide what goes into what? Like, talking about that, like, you can go anywhere. So are you focusing more on just the higher end stuff, the AVAs, and then everything gets down casted. I hate saying that because that's not what happens at all.
No.
It's almost like we kind of already know where it's gonna go, and then we just find those little small components of those blenders to kind of fill in and make other things pop that way. I mean, it's fun and it's interesting, and it makes me feel like, yeah, no, we don't really look at stuff and downcast something to a Napa cab. No, it's almost the opposite, where we kind of say, no, this is where we're going with this style, this like old European kind of style with that herbal, more of like a leaner fruit profile. And we find that really specifically and then make the blend according to that.
Yep.
Right. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. That it pays to have a great winemaking team. You two, obviously Andy Erickson coming in on our blendings, to be able to put all of these amazing vineyard parcels together. And you know, obviously we've got some amazing wines at Alpha Mega. Cabernet Sauvignon. I don't even know how many Cabernet Sauvignons we're going to release this year. Single vineyards, Era. You guys work with so many great vineyards, but it's great. I think it's great to kind of to rate and judge producers on their classic expression of Cabernet Sauvignon amidst all the different Cabernets we produce. And just like we usually do every year, we did it again in 2020.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You know, I really think that the success of the wines really is due to our winemaking team, our efficiency, our dedication. But as we spoke about the diversity of vineyards we work with, we're so lucky that, you know, our bets are kind of hedged in a way because we have such diversity in different areas. I mean, what a very nerve-wracking thing it must be to just have an estate to work with.
Oh gosh.
And you're so dependent on that specific microclimate from year to year. And I think our diversity and what has been established here at Ale really allows us to continue to shine even in challenging vintages.
Excellent, excellent. These are delicious wines. What a great wine club offering for our club members at Alpha Mega for the month of May. Mount Veeder 2020 Cabernet Sauvignon, and then our signature Cabernet Sauvignon. I think you guys said it perfectly. This just explodes on the nose, and the palate also. This is a little more restrained, but the savory notes, the blenders, you can really taste and get a feel for those in the wine. I mean, both incredible offerings from Alpha Omega. And guys, I just can't wait any longer because I'm looking at both of these. They're both going to go well with that. That's smelling way too good. We need to go check on Chef Jesse back here.
I mean, I'm about to walk back there and check, but when you really want to just check the pairing, you just have to smell the air and then smell the wine. Folks, we're outdoor here. It feels like we're cooking in a closet because the aromas are just all over us. Jesse, tell us about what's going on. Let's take a little look here.
Well, I've got the flank steak on the grill.
Yes, sir.
And
that beautiful cut.
It's accompanied today by a goat cheese medallion, which we've crusted in Japanese breadcrumbs and pecans.
Yes.
The pecans work well with the tannins in the wine, I think. The creaminess of the goat cheese smooths everything out. It has a little bit of acid in the goat cheese, which helps with the fattiness of the beef. And then we've made a red wine glaze with a little bit of molasses.
Okay.
To heat up the goat cheese medallions, I literally just place them on top of the flank steak. Put a lid on top of your grill and warm them for about 5 minutes.
Chef, any tips for our watchers out there that haven't cooked a lot of flank steak? For me, I find it's a fairly forgiving cut to cook. But
it is. It doesn't need a lot of time on the grill.
Yeah.
3 minutes per side for a good rare to medium rare. 5 to 6 minutes for medium, and then if you won't like it well done, just let it go.
And I know
it's
people.
It's quick, you know, it's good on a weeknight to throw this on the grill. They'll have dinner ready in 30 minutes,
and
start to finish.
Any suggestions on how to present here with cutting?
Yeah, so what we generally do is we'll pull it off, let it rest for 5 minutes. Slice it against the grain, so there's striations in the meat. They go one direction, you'll see, cut against the grain. And however, usually probably a 1/4 inch thick slice. And then top each section of slices with the goat cheese, maybe a little green salad on the top.
Folks, you cannot go wrong with this recipe. What an incredible match. I mean, just the aroma, you know it's gonna complement both the food and the wine to put these together. Fantastic job as always. Beautiful color, incredible ingredients, and a fantastic recipe for our followers at home to check out. So Chef, you did it again. Thank you so much. Cheers, buddy. Look at that, amazing. If they could only smell this at home, right? Fantastic. Love this little grill too.
Yeah, these are getting soft already. Beautiful.
Looks amazing. Well done.
I need hockey pucks of goat cheese.
I know.
Every
With
day of my life.
Yes. Is there anything
Every
they can't
day.
go on?
Yeah, that's phenomenal.
Hey,
Thank you.
was that a thing in Willy Wonka, like a Scent-O-Vision?
Yeah, smell-o-vision.
Smell-o-vision,
Smell-o-vision, way ahead
right?
of
That's
your
what
time.
we need.
Hey, we
That's
do.
what we need,
do.
friends.
We could send little vials out with the wine, you know? People.
Exactly.
Love it.
I would love
that.
that.
You know, with wine, good ideas start
Crew's
flying.
laughing.
Here we
They're
go.
laughing at us. No.
Yes, okay.
Unbelievable. Thank you, Chef Jesse.
bet.
I'm very excited to try that. I mean, I need simple 30-minute flank
Easy.
steak.
Yeah.
You know, simple things like that
Yeah.
on busy days. You
Yes.
just do it, make it happen, and then put some
Exactly.
great wines with it.
Fantastic matching.
So excellent. Thank you, Chef Jesse. Just a reminder, my friends, all of our food demonstrations, wine club videos, and the recipes are all on our website, aowinery.com. If you click on the Wine Club and at the bottom, scroll to the bottom of the page, it says View Wine Club Shipments. You get a nice fun dose of all of us for about 20, 30 minutes discussing each wine that was featured in our wine club at Alpha Omega and the food demonstration from Chef Jesse. It's so much fun and a great way to really expand not only your wine collection and your palate, but also your cooking skills.
Absolutely.
It's almost kind of foolproof, even though what he does is always better than what I do.
Absolutely.
You know.
Maybe if we do it a couple dozen times, we
Yeah,
can get
exactly.
revisit
a
some
little
old
bit like that,
recipes
right?
and things.
Or for the rest
yeah.
of our lives.
Oh,
I
in
don't
Paris, the older recipes that we've done, folks, check them out.
They're so good.
Don't be afraid to look at that lamb
Yeah.
Wellington.
know. The lamb,
the Lamb Wellington. You will not let that go.
I can't. I can't.
So
It's
good.
stuck right here.
So good. Yeah, so use our website as a resource. Again, aowinery.com. Under the Wine Club section, scroll to the bottom, past Wine Club shipments. It's some great content on there for you guys to enjoy with your wines. If you're not a member of our wine club, you can just click on our wine club, check out some of the options that we have.
Yeah.
We have amazing wines that are club focused that we ship out to our club members every other month. And we do library selections. We dive into the past. We
Yeah.
do some future selections as well. So we're a wine club winery, my friends.
Truly.
That's how our wines get allocated. We're mainly direct to consumer. So check out our wine club, aowinery.com, under wine club. Just some things to mention as we go into the summer, which is exciting. We've got some amazing events at Alpha Omega, and we'd love to have you there. They fill up really quick, my friends. So go to our website, aowinery.com, click on the events tab, and scroll through some of the things that we have coming up for the rest of the year. One dimension that's coming up, which is a staple, is the luau on the lawn, my
Award-winning.
friends.
So much fun.
Award-winning. It's an award-winning event.
award.
That's in June 24th. Saturday, June 24th is luau on the lawn. That's one to really get a jump start on because it fills up quick.
Yep.
But then check out the stuff. We've got everything lined up through the end of 2023. We like to party at Alpha Omega. We like to eat and drink
Yeah.
and be with great people.
Yeah.
So, yeah, check
Great.
that out, aowinery.com, under events. These two wines, my friends, are going to go very fast. Super small production out of the 2020 vintage,
Yeah.
low yielding production, but I think our team has knocked it out of the park here with these two wines, and then we're going to sprinkle out some more 2020s through the end of the year. Matt, Melissa, thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Happy to be
great,
here.
Great work on these wines. You and your team crushed it.
Thank you. Great
Yeah.
to be here. Fun as always.
Always a good time.
Always a
Melissa,
good time.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
Chef Jesse.
Chef.
You're the man. You're the man. He's just stirring up the molasses
know,
back
right?
there, just
Yeah.
doing
Just
that.
keeping it going.
Doing that. Awesome. We hope you all are doing well. We hope to see you again here in a couple months for another Wine Club allocation. Until then, we will leave it with you and come visit us at Alpha Omega for a tasting.
Yes,
some
please.
amazing wines to enjoy this year. Awesome, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank
Cheers.
you. Yeah,
Cheers.
cheers.
Cheers, chef.
Chef.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Salute.